Hey, welcome to Impress the Boss. I'm Catherine.
I'm Laurel.
And I'm Valerie.
And we're here to help you stand out without working overtime. This week, we're allowing Bobe-Yonce to shine again into our lives. All that glitter.
I feel like I have some on me.
Yeah, I know. It's getting from me to you.
Yes. That's right.
That's a story for another day.
Joke. I love the inside joke.
So this week with Bobe-Yonce, if you're not familiar with our workplace characters, check out episode 17, where we dig into who these characters are and the different personalities that are that we encounter at work. So Bobe-Yonce is obviously a play on Beyonce. And, this type of personality is the queen or the king, definitely the one that shines, the one that takes charge, the one that's social. This personality's the one that, they have an infectious laugh. They don't meet a stranger. They're friends with everyone. They like to perform. They like to get out there and do things. It's also the personality that might most encounter FOMO. So, you're like, sure. Don't want to miss out on anything that's important, and really wants to be engaged in the social aspect of work. So the guest we have today, we'll get to hear an interview, we'll talk about a takeaway, and then one action item that you can do at work. I'm really excited about this guest. I'm excited about all our guests, but this one as well. When I first met, I still think of him as a kid.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we met him when he was like 23.
I know. Yes. This guy is phenomenal. Just has accomplished so much in such a short time, and is very down to earth, which I think is one of his greatest assets. So, Laurel, do you want to tell us a little bit about our guest?
Yeah. So our guest this week is Ronnie O'Brien Rice. And ambition is Ronnie's middle name. Not only can you call Ronnie Dr. Rice, but you could actually also call him Dr. Rice, or you could call him Dr. Rice Esquire, because he does have a Ph.D. and a J.D. So making Ronnie our most educated guest, and we think also our youngest guest.
Yes.
So incredible. He is amazing. He is amazing. The thing about Ronnie is you don't want his academic accomplishments to fool you into thinking that he is stuffy or pretentious or full of himself or anything like that. Like you said, he is the sweetest man and so down to earth. And I'm pretty sure that he has friends on every corner of the planet and every country of the world. I don't even, I don't know that you'll hear it, but in the interview, he had two friends come in while we were interviewing and saying hi. So it's like, he's constantly surrounded with people who love him. So he is, in his work as an attorney, is just incredibly serious about advocating for other people and having victories and successes for other people. So that sweetness and kindness just comes across so much in his a desire to advocate for people and love people. And we will hear that in this interview that we're going to share with you right now with Dr. Ronnie Rice.
Welcome to Impress the Boss. Thank you so much for being with us today, Ronnie. We are thrilled to have you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we are taking a few liberties, but we are interviewing you based on Bobe-Yonce. So thank you so much for playing along with us. We love that you're willing to do so. So we want to touch on a couple different things in regard to our Bobe-Yonce. The first one would be, when you think about being a Bobe-Yonce, what is it that you would say is the biggest pitfall that other Bobe-Yonces in the workplace should avoid?
Well, first off, thank you for giving me that name, as I don't think that much of myself. But hey, if you think it out right, take it. But
I do.
To answer your question, one of the pitfalls, I think, someone who exudes that type of confidence and stargaze or what have you, is to know your strength and know your weaknesses. Individuals like myself who come off as compelling and self-driven and whatever organization or group, whatever, the issue is that we start believing our own hype. And it's okay to not be the one with the answers. It's okay to say, hey, I need a break. It's okay to say, I don't know, and go ask somebody asking somebody for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of active strength.
Yeah.
So with me in the various organizations that I am involved in, I see that a lot of times I'm the one that gets asked a lot, and a lot of stuff is getting put on my back to do things, which is it's a good sign because that means people trust you, but also it can be bad.
So if you think about the strengths, what would you say is the biggest strength of a Bobe-Yonce that they should lean into?
The biggest strength. It's so many of them.
Yeah. Oh, because you're just awesome. You are the king. I love it.
But I would say the biggest strength to use is adaptability. Individuals such as myself have a true knack for putting people together and working with people and not really seeing any type of lines. Being conscious of the differences, but not letting that stop the hindrance of the core progression of the group. And I think sometimes you might have individuals who might say, hey, I think you might like this group better than this group or whatever. You just have to be conscious of what's the overall goal for whatever that you're trying to do, whether it's business, whether it's a nonprofit, whether it's your church, whether it's your local chess club or book club. Don't be scared to, use those skills to bring everybody together, because somebody said a long time ago, you want to get somewhere quick, go by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get there and stay there, take a group of people.
Yeah, that's right. I love that. So what would you say is your number one tip for Bobe-Yonces in the workplace?
Oh man, number one tip, save your money.
Not a bad one. Not a bad one at all.
One is love everyone. And then the two, you're not a product of your environment. And the reason why I say love everyone, the Bible talks about agape love, and I don't want to go down the spiritual side of it. But I think if you learn to love people, even the so-called enemies, you kind of understand where they come from. And when you understand where somebody's come from, you kind of get them to maneuver in a fashion that will help propel through. Because think about it, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your kids, whether it's your mother-in-law, the quicker and sooner that you understand what the things that motivate as a group for. Now, the second thing I'll say is don't be confined to your environment. I was one of 5 kids. First, my family graduated from high school, first graduated from college. And I'm not saying that to say that make myself proud, but what I'm saying is I could have used my environment to a deficit and not really try to achieve anything.
Yep.
But if you learn how to harness the powers around you, the tools and resources around you to get to where you feel like you can do that. You don't have to just rest in your Lord. You don't have to just take what everybody else saying about you. Because individuals like myself has a tendency to be the forefront of a group. And sometimes that's the person who gets all the arrows in your back and stuff like that. But as long as you stay true to yourself and know that your environment does not dictate what you like, I think you'll be awesome.
That's so good. I love that. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us as Bobe-Yonce, Ronnie. We so appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I had an awesome time. Thank you so much.
Once again, an excellent interview, wouldn't you say, girls?
Yes.
Yes. When I think of Ronnie and when I first met him, he is the Beyonce because he just dressed to a T. It's just like every time you see him, he is just... He's not full of the glitter like, the female Beyonce, but he really is top notch. And I just appreciate just everything that Ronnie brings to the table when it comes to just talking about the Beyonce characteristics. And what the big takeaway that I have taken from Ronnie and what he shared is, I would say, he's a breakdown of barriers to bringing diversity within a group of people. Wouldn't you say that is true? It's just with a Beyonce personality, it's so easy, as he said, for people to look at them as somebody that they can always ask questions to, somebody that they can always look up to as being self-driven and getting things done. And definitely when you look at Ronnie, just Dr. Ronnie,
right.
he's all of those characteristics. But I appreciated when he said that and this is the action step. If you're a Beyonce, to step back and to not be afraid to ask your own questions and to ask somebody else for help. And I appreciated that so much about just this interview. And also, as I mentioned before, just breaking down walls between people and allowing a personality of a Beyonce to really bring diversity. And as Laurel mentioned, that Ronnie just has friends everywhere. And I love that about the Beyoncés of this world, is we need more of them to bring more diversity and not just, be friends with who we like or who we know, but to have diversity.
Yeah, I think it's such an important topic. I mean, it's in everything we discuss in organizations today. I was speaking with someone this week, and their thought on it was that there's diversity of thought. You don't just want people who think the same. You want people who have different ideas and different perspectives. And that's actually the entire basis of our Bob characters. All these Bobs have different things that they can contribute to an organization or to a workplace environment. And each thing is valuable. Each person has their own, things they struggle with, but bringing those ideas together, bringing that and creating synergy and creating something that's dynamic and engaging and leveraging the strengths of individuals and helping to solve for the challenges that each individual has. But, really, really working to include new thoughts and new perspectives in how we work.
Yes.
That's great. Yeah, thank you.
So check out Ronnie on social, Ronnie O'Brien Rice. He's definitely very active on social, and as Laurel mentioned, a very strong advocate. So I think following his journey will be very interesting for those who are interested in checking out more. Interesting and inspiring, yes. And then share your story about what you're doing in your job to really help cultivate connectedness between groups of people. And we'd love to hear more about that. Use hashtag #ImpressTheBoss, and we'll look forward to getting to know your stories further. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on social for your daily standout tips, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and don't forget to use the hashtag #ImpressTheBoss and share your journey with us. And until next time, Bob's out.